These 5 athletes change 4 tires and dump 2 cans of fuel in under 12 seconds. They train like NFL players in the off-season, and most of them were college football stars before they ever touched a wrench. This is every level of a NASCAR pit crew member's career, and it begins long before pit road, in a small garage in rural North Carolina, where a teenager named Cole Brennan spends his Saturdays helping his uncle rebuild a late-model engine for the local short track. His hands stained black, his ears ringing from the open headers, his eyes locked on the way pistons move, the way bearings settle, the way a machine becomes alive. He is 15 years old. He earns nothing, but he is already learning the language of speed. By 17, he is sweeping floors at a regional race shop for $10 an hour, organizing tool drawers, fetching parts, sometimes staying past midnight just to watch the senior mechanics torque a header bolt. This is the unpaid apprenticeship every crew member quietly walks through. The years before anyone notices. The years when the smell of race fuel becomes a permanent part of you. Level 1 of the actual career is the shop mechanic, the entry-level technician inside a sprawling race shop in Concord or Mooresville, where Cole, now 21, earns around $42,000 a year building suspensions, torquing chassis bolts, assembling rear ends, and learning every inch of a stock car from the floor up. The work is repetitive, the hours are long, the deadlines are merciless. A single car can take 600 labor hours to prepare for a single race weekend, and Cole spends those hours hunched over a workbench, his back aching, his hands cramping, his nights spent watching old race footage and dreaming of the wall. The next level is the road crew mechanic, the ones who travel with the haulers, set up the garage stall on Friday morning, change setups between practice sessions, and prep the car for qualifying and the race in itself, pulling in around $55,000 a year with per diem on top, sleeping in cheap motels 38 weekends a season, eating gas station sandwiches at 2 in the morning, watching their kids grow up through FaceTime. This is the level where romance dies and discipline is born, where Cole learns that the racing life is not a job, but a vow. Then comes the moment that separates modern NASCAR from every era before it, the pit crew combine, where former college athletes, linebackers from the SEC, receivers from the ACC, wrestlers from the Big Ten, line up alongside lifelong mechanics for tryouts at a converted warehouse in Charlotte. Because in today's sport, raw athleticism matters more than mechanical experience. Recruits run shuttle drills against a clock, swing lug guns against timing rigs, leap over practice walls, and get filmed from 4 angles while coaches grade their footwork the way an NFL scout grades a draft prospect. Cole, who played safety in junior college before a torn ACL ended that dream, finds himself oddly at home, his football body finally useful again, his hand speed measured in milliseconds, his explosiveness measured in inches off the wall. Those who survive the combine become developmental pit crew members, practicing thousands of stops on a stationary chassis inside the team's pit practice facility, earning around $65,000 while they wait for a call-up to the cup level. They hit the same 5 lug nuts 10,000 times a year. They carry the same 90-pound fuel can until their forearms swell. They learn to anticipate the car's arrival by the sound of the engine alone. Then, the specialists emerge. The tire changers, the front and rear jackmen, the 2 tire carriers, and the fueler. Each one a position with its own gym program, its own film study, its own salary band stretching from $80,000 to over $150,000 for the elite at top-tier cup teams. The front tire changer is the surgeon, hitting 5 lug nuts in under 9/10 of a second with a pneumatic gun spinning at 10,000 revolutions per minute. The rear tire changer is the closer, often the fastest hands in the entire garage. The jackman is the power lifter, hoisting a 3,400-pound car with one fluid pump of a 40-pound aluminum jack, dropping it on cue, and sprinting around to the other side in under 3 seconds. The tire carriers are the running backs, hauling a 65-pound Goodyear wet from the wall to the hub without breaking stride. And the fueler is the Ironman, holding a 94-pound can vertical above his shoulder while gravity does the work. Cole becomes a front tire changer, and for 2 seasons his world shrinks to a single rectangle of asphalt and a single sequence of motions repeated until they live in his bones. Above the specialists sits the pit crew coach, a former athlete himself, drawing up choreography on a whiteboard, breaking down frame-by-frame footage from 12 different camera angles, running mock cautions at random hours just to test his crew's nervous systems, and earning $200,000 or more to shave tenths off a stop. A single tenth on pit road is worth roughly 3 positions on the racetrack, and a championship can swing on a single bad exchange in October at Martinsville. And at the very top of the operation, watching everything from atop the pit box with a headset clamped to his ears and a tablet in his hands, is the crew chief, the strategist who calls fuel windows, tire strategy, pit timing, and adjustments, who decides when to gamble on track position and when to play the long game, who pulls in anywhere from $500,000 to over $1 million a year at the championship level, and who carries the weight of 40 livelihoods every Sunday afternoon. But the glory is fragile, painfully fragile. One loose lug nut costs a win. One slow stop drops a driver 6 positions. One botched fuel can end careers. One missed signal sends a car back into traffic with another car already there. Cole remembers the Daytona stop where a jack slipped and cost his team a playoff spot. The silence in the hauler afterward. The long flight home where no one made eye contact. He remembers the night a teammate got released after a single televised mistake. His locker cleared by Tuesday. His name scrubbed from the team website by Wednesday. The sport is unforgiving in a way that nothing prepares you for. And yet he also remembers the championship Sunday at Phoenix, when his crew hit a 9.4-second stop in the closing laps, and the driver kissed the trophy in victory lane while confetti rained down and his mother cried in the stands. The schedule is brutal. 36 points races, the Clash at the Coliseum, the All-Star race, the duels at Daytona. 10 months on the road, gym sessions every morning at 6, practice stops every afternoon at 1, film review every evening at 7, and somewhere in between, a marriage, a kid, a body that aches by Wednesday and resets by Sunday through sheer willpower and ibuprofen. The off-season is 2 months long, and half of it is spent rehabbing whatever the season broke. And yet every one of them, from the shop mechanic torquing his first chassis bolt to the crew chief lifting the Bill France Cup, will tell you the same thing. That 12 seconds on pit road, where 5 people move as a single organism and a season can flip on a single tire, is the closest thing to magic in American sport. It is choreography at the edge of human reflex. It is brotherhood forged in failure. It is the rarest kind of teamwork because no one in the stadium is watching the men doing it. They are watching the car, and that anonymity is part of the contract. You give your 20s and your 30s to a sport that will never put your face on a poster, and you do it anyway because there is no other feeling on earth like nailing a sub-10-second stop with a championship on the line. And Cole, now 34, a veteran tire changer with a championship ring on his right hand and a permanent ache in his left shoulder, still shows up Monday morning at the shop in Concord, grease under his nails, coffee in his hand, his daughter's drawing taped to the inside of his locker, and he straps on the practice gun and he hits the lug nuts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in under 9/10 of a second, the way he has done it 10,000 times before, dreaming of the next stop, the next 10th, the next 12 seconds that could change everything, because somewhere out there a 15-year-old kid is helping his uncle rebuild a late-model engine in a small garage in rural North Carolina, hands stained black, ears ringing, eyes locked on the way a machine becomes alive, and the cycle, like the cars themselves, never truly stops.